Cameren Gellenbeck is out of the hospital, but his friend, 9-year-old Jalontae White, remains in the hospital as police build a case against the driver of the car that hit them.
Investigators are waiting for a toxicology report to come back on the driver, Weldy. But in the meantime, Local 12's Rich Jaffe can fill in some of the blanks in the case against her. And Rich joins us now live from the scene of the accident in South Fairmount. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Kimmy. This is exactly the spot where the little boys were hit, right up here on the sidewalk. This stretch of Westwood Avenue is incredibly dangerous, so much so that there were already concrete columns in front of this house to keep it from getting hit again. 11-year-old Cameren Gellenbeck is lucky to be alive. Just out of the hospital, he told me he tried to get out of the way of the car that hit him and 9-year-old Jalontae White.
Me and him was riding the bike, and we was coming up back to him, and then the car was coming, and then it came on the sidewalk, hit me, and I flew up in the air and landed, and then I climbed to the stairs, and this lady came out.
The two boys were on their way to Cameron's house from McDonald's when police say the car driven by Weldy jumped the curb and slammed into the boys on the sidewalk. Jalontae White, known as Tay-Tay, remains in Children's Hospital with more serious injuries, including head trauma. Cameron's mom ran to her son's side moments after he was hit.
When the car came up on the sidewalk, he took the front right side of the car, and she hit him and knocked him into the air, and he hit the door of the house and came back down.
Today I spoke with Weldy at her home. However, she didn't want to talk on camera, telling me she's having a tough time with the crash. She's likely to have a much tougher time in the near future, especially since her 7-year-old son was also in the car.
The driver of the car has yet to been able to provide us that she has a valid driver's license in any state, and her and the owner of the car have not been able to provide us insurance on the car.
That's what bothers me, is that somebody could get behind the wheel irresponsibly, and especially having a kid in the car with her as well. I mean, these kids weren't in the street or going in front of traffic. They were simply riding their bikes home from McDonald's.
Now, this is the area where the car came up and hit the curb. You can see it traveled on the sidewalk down here for a considerable distance, all the way down there to the ends of the markings, and I mean, it's just a frightening scenario. The investigators tell me that the really critical piece of all of this is that toxicology report on the urine test. If that comes back and shows the driver of that car was impaired, the lack of license and the lack of insurance will be the least of her worries. In South Fairmount, Rich Jaffe, Local 12 News. Cammy?
Rich, my heart just goes out to these the families of these little boys that are affected.
Absolutely.
The 9-year-old who's still in the hospital, have they said anything about the potential of brain damage or anything like that, or do you know?
Well, they're not talking about that officially at this point. I can tell you, though, that Cameron's family told me that yesterday, while everybody was waiting for x-rays, they were talking to him, and he seemed to be okay. That was yesterday. Now, a fair bit of time has elapsed. That can be good or bad. But certainly, if both these kids make it through this without any significant damage, they are absolutely nothing but lucky.
Right. All right. Well, our thoughts and prayers certainly are with him and his family. Thanks, Rich. And the one thing investigators have ruled out as a factor in the crash is speed. They'll also examine the car to see if there was any mechanical malfunction, and we'll let you know what they find.